Okay, we will begin with the overview of SQL Server in today's session, and then we will move on with the data types. I believe all of you have done the installation, right? The installation configuration of SQL Server and SSMS. Hence, I'm going to skip this one, and we will directly jump into understanding what are the different data types and then the built-in functions that are available in SQL Server. What is SQL Server? It is Microsoft product. It is a relational database management system. SQL Server is Microsoft's RDBMS. It's Microsoft's RDBMS. Okay, relational database management. And as part of SQL Server, you have different editions are available. One is the Express edition. It is a free one. I believe all of you have installed this one only. And that's what my recorded video, I have demonstrated how to do the installation of Express, right? Express edition. And the developer is also free, and standard and enterprise. These are for licensed one. Let's not worry about that's for the enterprises. Okay. Before we proceed with understanding what exactly relational database management system, first we'll understand what is database management system. What is database management system? We have file storage, right? File system. So what we used to do, right? People used to do in the past. They used to store all the data files and data everything in the file system. Maybe the Windows, those people use Windows operating system, they store the files there. And those use Mac operating system, they store the data on the Mac operating system. So what happened if you wanted to consolidate data from multiple data sets, and that too, if you wanted to perform left outer join, all kind of joins, if you want to do it, they found it very difficult. And also when it comes to security, if somebody knows your login credentials, your data is prone to hack, right? So people can easily hack the data and they can do anything. So when it comes to database management system, what they did, right? As part of this, you can store the data in a database. Instead of storing the data in your file system, store the data in your database. It's kind of a container. Once you store the data, you can manipulate the data and you can create a report by fetching the data from the database. Okay. So, and also the security, right, to access the database. So those people have the appropriate privilege. Only they can access the database or the relevant tables or objects. And again, based on the roles that you created it, they can access only, though they can access the tables and databases, still they'll be restricted to access only this some set of or specific set of records. Okay, so all the enabling securities, creating roles, and manipulating data, storing and modifying the data, deleting the data, inserting the data. Right, everything is possible once it's stored in a container like a database management system. So there are two types of database management. One is relational, other one is non-relational database. So relational database, we have Oracle, MySQL, and the SQL Server. SQL Server is Microsoft product, and Oracle is Oracle's product. And MySQL that was bought by Facebook. Okay, earlier it was MySQL was bought by Oracle. Okay, now MySQL is also part of Oracle. Earlier it was an open source that was used by Facebook, since they post a lot of challenges when it comes to scalability, all the thing, right? So over a period of time, Facebook, they removed the MySQL database, and then they started using some other databases now. Okay. So like I said, right? So you have IBM's DB2. DB2 is another RDBMS. Okay. There are two types of database management. Relational, we discussed some SQL Server and Oracle, DB2. Non-relational, you have some document data store. Okay, you have something called MongoDB. It is not a relational database, and you have column-oriented databases, a key value store, and graph database. These are the examples for your non-relational database. Okay. So next one is RDBMS. So far we discussed what is a database management system and the two different types of database management system. So database management system helps us to store the data in the database. Hence, see, your database sits on top of your operating system, sorry, file system, right? Operating system, file system. And then people can access the data with a higher, with an increased security, right? And also they can manipulate the data and they can perform any kind of operations. Okay. But now the question is, what is a relational database management system? Okay. So it is called RDBMS. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. Okay. Why it is called Relational Database Management System? Okay. So in the case of relational database system, the tables are linked with one another. Okay. For example, employee table, department table. Here both the table got linked. Both the table got linked. So if you wanted to link, create a link between the two tables, which is nothing but the relationship. If you want to create the relationship between the two tables, the relationship we already discussed as part of Power BI data modeling, right? So here to create a relationship between two tables, you need to have a common column exists in both the tables. Here you have depart number, there you have depart number. Hence we could see that common column like depart number exists in two different tables, right? So these two tables have common column depart number. Since you have the common column exists between these two tables, you will be able to create the link or the relationship between the two tables, okay, based on the department number. So now the question is, why should I, yes, I have common columns exist between these two tables. But does that mean, do I have to create a relationship? Is it mandatory to create the relationship? To answer to this question, yes. For example, you want to view which employee belong to which department. Let's say you want to create a report wherein you want to show the employee name and then the department name instead of the depart number. You want to print the department name along with the employee number plus salary. So employee name, salary is available in this table, whereas here the department name is available. So what you do is, since the data are available in two different tables to create your specific reporting requirement, you need to join these two tables based on the common column. Hence, the relationship is very much required. So without creating the relationship between the tables, you cannot select the data from more than one data, but still you can select the data, but it will not be accurate. Okay, it will do some kind of Cartesian join and all. That is not the preferred one. Okay, so now you understood what is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So in simple term, we create the relationship between the tables based on the common column. Okay, why we need to create the the relationship between the two tables based on the common column? Because we wanted to select the data from both the tables. Next one is, what is SQL and TSQL? So it is also called as a SQL. It stands for Structured Query Language. It's also kind of a programming language. Okay. So once we store the data, storing the data alone not sufficient. So I have a container. Listen, I have created database, and then so you can say that with my database you can store a huge volume of data. Everything is fine, but end of the day, data is available in a database. What is the use unless you query the data? The data is not helpful, right? You have to select the data from your database. So for that, we will use a programming language called a SQL query, structured query language. It is a plain English language. Okay. Hence, the learning curve is very less. Okay. Even a layman can learn the SQL. Okay. So once you store the data, like I said, right, using SQL, for example, here you have, this is your SQL server, you have your database in your SQL server, and in the database, you have a table called products, and you want to select the data from the table products that is available in SQL server. For that, we use the query, select star from something like that. We need to use a SQL query. Okay, once you store the data, using SQL query, we can describe the data, we can select the data, fetch the data, we can manipulate the data from our relational databases. SQL Server is one of the relational databases. Okay. So the mode of communication is happening using the SQL query. Okay, using SQL, we can communicate to the database. Okay. Let's say, you sell variety of products. Let's say you want to find out what are the products that you sell it. For that, right, the data is available here in the products table. You want to see, what are the products that we are selling it and the associated price and other attributes. You can use select star from this SQL query. When you use this SQL query, you can fetch the data that you stored in your SQL Server database, right? So now the question is, okay, now you understood, right? Using SQL query, we can fetch the data that you already stored in your SQL Server. Fine. Using the SQL query only, you can communicate to your SQL Server. The next question is, what is TSQL? TSQL stands for Transact SQL. What is Transact SQL? TSQL stands for Transact SQL. Okay, fine. This is very specific to SQL Server. Okay. It is primarily used in your Microsoft SQL Server databases and then the software. Okay. Now the question is, what is the difference between SQL and SQL? Yes, you can say SQL, or some people they say SQL and TSQL. In when you use the SQL statements, listen very carefully. When you use the SQL statements like this, okay, these queries or the SQL statements will get executed one at a time. One at a time, the query will get executed. Okay, hence it is also called as a non-procedural language. The SQL is a non-procedural. Whereas TSQL is a procedural language. Okay, it is also called as a procedural language. So what do you mean by procedural language? In this case, what happened is the code will be executed as a block. Let's say you have SQL1 and SQL2, two queries are there, three queries are there. You want to execute these three queries, block of SQL queries. I call this a block of SQL queries. In this block, I have, query one, multiple queries are there. So you want to execute the entire block of the query in one go. That is called TSQL. Okay. The code will be processed as a block, entire block. Okay. It's something like, you are shipping the products to your, let's say 100 customers ordered products. Okay. So let's say you have 100 orders. Each orders, you send it separately. What will happen? Let's say on the same street, we have received the 100 orders. If you send, each and every order in a separate truck, what will happen? It will, you need more trucks, right? The truck, the first truck has to go and deliver it. And then the truck has to come back, and then again it has to pick up, and then it has to deliver it. Rather, if you put everything in a single truck, and then if you send it, because anyhow we are going to distribute the same items in this specific street alone. So in that case, you put everything in a truck so that, in one go, you can deliver it, everything to the customer. You don't have to deliver it to one customer and again come back, again deliver it. That headache is not there. Okay. So the procedural SQL is nothing but the code, or in the code will be processed as a block logically in a structured manner. So hence it is called procedural language. Just think, batch of jobs we are executing. Here, each query will be executed one at a time. Okay, so the first query will get executed, and then the second query will use. It's a sequential. Okay, so you need to submit each and every query separately, right? But here it is. You can group all the things, and then you can submit it to your SQL Server. Fine. So now we understood what is the difference between SQL and TSQL. SQL is non-procedural, whereas the TSQL stands for Transact SQL. It is a procedural language. The TSQL. This is very specific to Microsoft Microsoft introduced this one. So using procedural, you can execute the block of the code in one go. Instead of executing each SQL statement separately, you can submit them as a batch. Okay, so in order to work with the SQL Server, we need to download and install the SSMS, right? First, you need to install the SQL Server, and then we need to install the SQL Server Management Studio. So you know how to download and install SQL Server and the SSMS. Okay. The SQL Server Management Studio. Look here, all of you have installed it already. I just launched it. If you have not yet done, please tell me. This is the SQL Server, right? So recover selected files, something like that. Already I have used something. Okay, let it do. This is my SQL SSMS tool, SQL Server Management Studio. So it's a graphical user interface. It is also called a GUI, right? So for different programming language, different GUIs are available. I'm going to, this is what the connection details. I'm going to hit the connect button. So the connection details will get populated automatically. We don't have to type it. So once I hit this connect button, it should connect. I think I shut down abruptly yesterday. Maybe it got corrupted. Okay, good that. Thank God it did not correct. Okay. So now see, this is what your SSMS, SQL Server Management System. SSMS stands for SQL Server Management Studio. Sorry, it's called a studio. SQL Server Management Studio. SSMS stands for that. So once you connect to the SQL Server, you can see these or these folders, these many number of folders. Almost how many? 7 folders. You can see that here. If you've already created any databases, click on the plus icon next to the databases to expand it to view what are the databases that are available. You can see the system database. Don't ever touch this one. But anyhow, for you to understand what is there here, when you expand this one by clicking on the plus, then you can see 4 databases. These 4 databases created automatically when you install the SQL Server software. Okay. And this is my SSMS. This is a graphical user interface using which I connected to the backend the SQL Server. So my SQL Server name is SQL Express 03. Okay. In this, these 4 databases, whatever it got created automatically while installing the software, you can see that don't ever create any table or objects in this one. Simply you can minimize this or collapse this. Don't do anything here. So create a database for your development purpose or for your project, but it is not your responsibility to create the databases. No one will allow you to create the databases once you get into a real-time project. The real-time project also, you will have development database, QA database, quality analytics, and user acceptance testing databases, and then production database are there. So dev database and QA database and UAT database and production. We have production database. Okay. Likewise, 4 different database will be there. If you want to do anything in development, you have to do it here. Okay. You will not have access to production. And first of all, you cannot create even the development database. You don't have the privilege. Only the database administrators, they are the one have the privilege to create the databases. Okay. So I will just show you how to create the database. Pretty simple. But you might be asking this, and then why the hell should I learn how to create a database? If it is a DBA job. But knowing more, it is always good. Number one. Number two is you need to create a database in your laptop for practicing it, right? Hence, you should be knowing it. I just click on the databases folder, right click on it. And when I see that, when you right click on it, you can see the new database. I just click on it. If you open up a window, and here I just give some name to this database. For example, practice database. Okay, something like that. Okay, 1 second. Let it, uh, yeah. So I just look here. Now the practice database got created. So I just delete it, right click on it, delete. I'll do it one more time. Please watch carefully. So here, guys, don't ever do the mistake of deleting the databases mistakenly also. No one will give you privilege, first of all, but don't ever do that. That's a very dangerous thing. Okay, data, right click on it, click on the new database. And here I just give, for example, demo DB file, demo database file. I just type the database name and then close your eyes and hit the OK button. That's all, guys. The database will be ready. The demo DB file, look here on the left side, the database got created. This is the one created by us. Now I'm going to expand the demo database file by clicking on the plus sign. You can see all these things. And here you have the tables. When you click on it here, you will not find any tables because I did not create any table here, right? Look here, only system tables are all the things are there, but my own table is missing. So now you understood how to create a database. Supposing you want to rename the database, right click on it and you have rename option. Okay, supposing you want to delete the database, click on delete. Renaming the database name is possible. Deleting the database is also possible. And then here you have create database, create a new query editor window and drop data. Let's say if I click on the drop to, and here it will generate drop database. If you don't want this, so you right click on it, delete it. The other option is drop database, demo DB file, you go. Okay, it will drop the database. Okay, don't ever try this. Just for you guys to understand, I just I did this. Okay, what is the next thing now? So next one is the okay. What we'll do is we'll directly jump into data types. Okay. So okay, I just explain you quickly the the tool. Okay, here on the extreme left side, right? Here you can see the Object Explorer. Just beneath that, you can see the connect. Next to that, you can see the drop down. When you click on it, various options are there. You need to click on the database engine. Don't try rest of them. This is your analysis services, the SSAS and SSIS, in SSRS, Azure Storage, Azure SSIS integration. And these all things are not relevant to us. Hence, you need to click on the database engine. Once you launch the tool, by default, all the values will get populated. You need to simply hit the connect button. That's all. Okay, this is what your object is. The right side, this is your script window. This is where we write the SQL query. So SQL Server we have installed. To talk to the SQL Server, we use the SSMS tool. So here we write the SQL query, or we can use the DDL and DML statements, everything here. Okay. That's how so now the question is, why should I use SSMS? Because SSMS is developer friendly. You don't have to type the entire command. So like, if I want, for example, if I go to the demo DB database, which I already created it, and I'm going to click on the plus sign next to the tables. Look here, you have the customer dimension table, right click on it and then select top 1000. Look here, the query got generated automatically. Did I write the query? No, right? So these are the things, you don't have certain things you don't have to write queries. Just by point and clicking the specific objects, you can generate the queries, you can do everything, right? Since it reduces your time. You don't have to write SQL query for everything. So that will definitely, obviously improve your productivity. Okay, so and next one you can see here, right on top, you have the file menu. Edit all the things, right? And you have the tools here. You have SQL Server Profiler, using which, once you submitted your SQL query, if you want to see the SQL queries performance, right, you can use this one, SQL Server. What are the queries that are running in your database that you can see it here? And then tuning advisor, okay. Supposing your queries performance is very slow or something like that, this one will give you an advice, okay, where you need to change what, something like that, okay. And this window, is just simple next to pane, previous pane, something like that, okay. So this is called your pane, okay, if you want to go for. So for that one, you can click on it here itself. And you have a lot of other options, pretty simple one, right? So you have analysis service, MDX query, and cutting and copying. All the things are very simple and straightforward one. And then here, right? So this is what your script window. This is where we write the query. And once you write the query, for example, in this case, this query got generated automatically and then it got executed automatically. Sometimes, right, you need to write the query manually. Okay, so let's say I have typed this query. If I want to execute this, I need to click on the execute button so that the query will get executed. Okay, and then there are two tabs here, just beneath this one, your results tab and the message tab. If you click on the message tab, you can see that how many number of records are there in the customer dimension table or any table. Okay, and you might be wondering, what is this demo db dbo dot customer? Actually, my table name is just customer dimension. Why? It got prefixed with this is nothing but your database name followed by the dot, and this is your schema name. I'll just write it here. Database name dot schema name dot table name. Okay, database name, schema name dot table name. Okay, so a single database can have multiple schema. Okay, schema, and each schema can have multiple tables. Single database can have multiple schema. Schema 1 and schema 2, schema 3. Okay, fine. Likewise, n number of schemas you can. Each schema can have multiple tables. It's a logical entity. Okay, in each database, you will have multiple. You can create multiple logical schema. For example, in your company, you have finance department. For finance department, you are creating separate schema. So in this schema, you keep all finance related tables, and this is your sales database. Okay, sales department. They create a name for the schema as sales schema, so that all the sales related tables will get stored here, something like that. Okay, logically, they divide the databases by schema. Then each database you can have, any n number of tables. This is the basic thing you should be knowing it. So next one is the data types. So what are the data types are there in SQL Server? First of all, what is a data type? It's nothing but the type of the data, right? Type of the data a variable can store. For example, I have a variable by the name quantity, right? So what is quantity variable? Quantity. Listen, I have a variable by the name of quantity. What is variable? Variable, as the name says, it can take any value, right? So if I say quantity, it can be any number. It can take any number, right? What number? Numeric value. Quantity is a numeric variable. It's a numeric variable. If I say name, customer name, this is also a variable. Okay, but this is a varchar or character variable. Text data, right? Text variable. This is a numeric variable. Okay. To store an integer data type, we can use the integer data to store the whole number, right? To store the whole number, we use the integer data type. To store the decimal number, we use the decimal data type. Okay, float or something like that. But here, the data type to store the floating point value is something like sales amount. This is a decimal number data type. Okay. So when it comes to SQL Server, there are plenty of data types are available. There are plenty of data types are available. Okay, but the common data types, very well, the numeric data type and what else? Let's see. The numeric data type and the text data, which is nothing but string data type, and date and time, and binary data type, and other data types. Okay, but when it comes to the numeric data type itself, there are two categories are there. This is common in almost all the programming language, integer and decimal. Integer is a whole number. But when it comes to SQL Server, within the integer data, the data type itself, you have so many data types of big int, small int, tiny int, bit, and all. Okay. And similarly, when it comes to decimal, you have something like decimal, money, small money, and numeric data types are available. Okay, so it depends on the requirement. You can choose the appropriate data type to store the data in an optimal way. Okay. For example, right, if you want to store the number of children in a family, number of children in a family. So number of children in a family, how many kids a family can have? Maximum 2 digits, right? Some family, if you see 16 kids are there. Some family 12 maximum, right? Some family only one kid, two kid, maybe right 12 or 16 kids also there. So you think more than 100 kids are there? 3 digits are nowhere possible, right? Nowhere, you will find that one. I have 100 kids. Can someone say like that? No, right? Maximum 2 digits. That's all. Hence, you can use tiny int data, tiny int data type. Okay. So in this case, what will happen is when you use tiny int, it will store, it will allocate very less bytes or bits in your memory, so that it will be optimally store the value. Okay. It's something like that. The simple analogy is, which you have a relative and 10 members are coming to your house. Let's say you are, you have 10 houses are there. You can allow them to stay in different houses, right? Each and every person you can ask them to stay in separate houses. Let's say you have only 2 houses. So in that case, what you can do, you can ask 5 people to stay in the ground floor and 5 people stay in the first floor. In that case, you are saving the space. Otherwise, what will happen? You will have to book the room in a hotel, right? So you'll have to book the room in a hotel. It's very expensive. Similarly, if you don't use the proper data type, it will, it will consume too much of storage, and also the performance will be very slow. So what we will do is now we will take a look at the most frequently used data type, and then the popular data type. We will take a look at it. The integer, if you see any project, the integer data type will be there, and decimal data type will be there, and then the bit. Bit is a data type that is available in SQL Server. It takes the values 0 or 1. Okay. The integer takes the values anywhere between these two ranges. Similarly, the decimal takes anywhere between these two ranges, and date time between this it takes. So if you try to insert any date, just prior to this, just after this, it will not work. And then you have to store the string data type. Either you can use char char data type or var char data type. So both of them we can use it to store the text data. When it comes to character data type, what will happen? It's a fixed length. Okay, fixed length. Whereas when it comes to variable character, as the name suggests, in the size of the character will be lengthy. For example, the first name for a customer, right? You are using, let's 50 character 50 data type. Okay, the data type width. Okay, char of 50 inside this. Wait, I'll just type it. It's you have customer name, column name. So you need to define the data type. Yes, the data type is char. And if you specify 50, right, what will happen is, irrespective of the length of the customer name, it will allocate 50 cells in the memory. 50, right? Let's say some customer name is just 4 letters. So hence it requires just 4 bits, right? So in that case, since you have used 50, whether it's a smaller one or bigger one, it uses the entire thing. So after the 4 letters, the rest of the cells will have blank values in it, but still it is reserved in the memory. Okay, so this remaining space will not be used by any other variable, or any other program cannot use it. It's kind of a reserved one. So you see that when you go to hotel, they put something like VIP, right? VIP or reserved. You can see the placard. They put it on top of the table reserved. That means those tables are reserved. Though 100 people are waiting, that these tables are not used because it is reserved for someone. They already blocked the table. Just because someone blocked the table, other people, they have to wait, they cannot use it. Similarly, car 50 is something like the reserved. Okay, it's all reserved. Whether it's a small, whether the customer name length is smaller or bigger, still it remains fixed. But the advantage of varchar is 50 is. So what will happen is if the person name is Babu, it requires only 4 bits. Okay, even though you have mentioned 50, based on the length of the customer name, it will allocate the memory. That's all. You have another person name, his name is Rajendra. Rajendra. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only say, even though you specified 50, so it is dynamically assigned the memory for irrespective of the length of the customer name, right? So dynamic lesson, but whereas here it is irrespective of the length of the customer, whether it's smaller or bigger, by default for each and every customer, blindly it allocates 50 bits in the memory. Okay. So you can use in that case, why should I use car 50? In that case, I'm going to use var car 50. Yes, it is up to you. But if you're damn sure, for example, you have something like customer type, right? Customer type is regular customer, or week, once in a time, weekly, weekend customer, something like that. You have different customer type. So you know very well, right? Only 2 letters are there. In that case, you can use char up to. It's a fixed one. Okay. Or you want a mandate, right? So this customer type column should populate the value. It should have some value in it, but it should have only 2, right? So 2 values it should be, or something like that. So if you know very well, the customer type will have only 2 letters in it, then you can use char2. In that kind of situation, you can use char2. And if you do not know, each and every customer's the length of their name. So, there is an uncertainty, right? In that kind of situation, you can use varchar. It takes care of it automatically. Yeah, that is the difference between char and varchar. Maximum length is 8,000 character, fixed length Unicode character, whereas here maximum length is 8,000 characters, but it's a variable length thing here, okay? And your binary, so binary, the 8,000 bytes or something like that. So you can store binary data here, okay? Next one is the built-in function. What are the built-in functions that are available? You have something absolute, round. These are the various built-in functions that are available in SQL Server. Right. So, for example, if you wanted to sum the total, let's say you want to perform if you want to sum a total, or if you want to sum a specific column, sales column, or sum of quantity, you can minimum quantity, maximum quantity, and exponentiate. If you want to exponentiate a value, in that kind of situation, you can use exp. So these are the built-in functions that are available. These are the most popularly or frequently used built-in functions. Apart from this, there are other built-in functions that are available that are related to string data type. Okay. Now I just go to the SSMS. I'll show you how to use these built-in functions. Okay. So first of all, how do I use a comment here? You can use double hyphen to mention a comment. So you have to use a comment whenever you write any script, because that is the best practice. Okay. If you wanted to, if you want to put a one-line comment, one-liner comment, you can prefix with double dash, double hyphen. So here we are going to explore the numeric built-in. Numeric built-in data. For example, I just want to check select. Okay, here I have sales fact, right? Okay. Select sum of sales. Okay, in this case, what I do is we have, see, in my case, I have created multiple databases here, right? Let's say currently, so in this case, I'm using a table from this database. Which database? DemoDB. Okay. The create table already I have demonstrated. I will show you little later, don't worry. So in this database, demo database, I have created various tables, right? Like accounts and customer dimension, bin product, everything. And we have sales fact table. Okay, what I will do is, so now the question, the same table are available in other databases also. How do I tell SQL Server, hey, use this database. In this database, whatever the tables are there, that one you need to query it. Okay. So in that case, how do I select the specific database? You need to use the command called use demo db and then go. Followed by that, you give go. So in that case, what will happen? It will select this database. Of all the databases are available, it will select only this database. And then if you do any operation, if you write a select statement, it will go and select it from this database. But anyhow, we are specifying the username here. But it is always good, you just select the database first and then you execute the query. Okay. Here I'm going to use the sales amount column. Sum of sales, for example. Okay, sales fact is coming here. 1 second, I'll just do one thing. I just say type from sales fact. Sales fact is the table name. And then here I just say the column here. Okay, and here I just say sales. And then I just say I'm going to click on F5. Okay, either see this one in this case, I just selected this one, and when I click on execute, it will get executed. So first you need to type the query and then click on execute. Now you want to understand what exactly this query is doing it. So here in this case, select statement, how we need to write is first start with select. The select, the blue colored one is a keyword. Okay, followed by that. For example, in my case, I want to perform a total on the sales amount column, which belong to sales fact table. Okay. So I'm going to use the sum function, sum of sales amount from sales fact table. Followed the from, you can specify the table name. You need to tell the table name, right? Something like, if I wanted to deliver a letter to your house, I should be knowing your address. Sales fact is something like your table name. Which table you want to select what column. Followed with a select statement, you list out all the columns that you needed. In this case, I need only one column called sales amount. So I'm here, for the sales amount, I put it inside the sum function. You might be asking this one, why do you use the square bracket for the sales amount? Because sales amount is a single column name. Since the naming convention, they used it, right? For the sales amount, they left a blank space here. So whenever you have a blank space, you have to use the square bracket. Otherwise, what will happen? The SQL engine will, read everything from here to here. When it comes to the blank space, it will think, hey, beyond this, nothing else is there, and it will start execute this one. You don't have a sales column. This is a complete incomplete statement, right? So in that case, since you have the blanks, space is there within your column name, you need to use a square bracket. Now I have defined the column name inside this sum function. If I say function, it should start with open parenthesis and close parenthesis. The sum is a function, built-in function. So hence you need to use the open parenthesis and make sure that you end with the closed parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis, I mentioned about my column name that belongs to my sales fact table. If I do this one, it gives me the total sales that we made it in one go, right? So 4,56,000 or 456K. So this is how you can use the sum function. Similarly, I can just select this one. You can use the quantity column now. Okay, so you can use quantity column. For example, I just type QAN, that's all, right? So the quantity is displayed by the, just below this one. This is called code completion facility. You don't have to type the entire column name. Just type 2 letters or 3 letters of your column name. So it will automatically display all the columns that start with the 2 or 3 letters, right? And then simply pick up that one. your time will be saved. So I'm going to click on the execute here, select sum of quantity from sales file. Okay, here the quantity column is, having something, text it, right? What I will do is demo DB here, right? You can see the column name also here. Okay, for example, here, the sales fact table. Next to that, if I click on the plus sign, it will get expanded. So now you can see columns, you can click on it here. And now if I see the quantity, yeah, it's a n varchar data type. So this one actually, it's supposed to be a numeric data. Unfortunately, it's a character data. Hence, it is throwing error. So anyhow, we will see that later how we can convert the data type and all in SQL Server. So now what I do is I'm going to use another column, profit. Okay, profit. That's all. Plus and do press F5. The total profit is 38K. And total says how much? That is the part, right? And if I execute this one, it will show, this query's output here. But when I execute this one, it shows only this query's output. I wanted to see both the query's output together here. So for that, what you need to do is you need to end with go. Okay. Select these two queries. You can leave space also. But what will happen is in this case, both the queries will get submitted together. Okay. So, right, so TSQL, okay, it's a block, it's considered as a block. More than one SQL will be grouped together and then it will submit both of them in one go. Previously, what happened? When I execute this one, this query will get executed. I can see only this query's output. But, followed by these queries, I mentioned go. When you specify go, right, just above this, whatever the SQLs are there, that will be considered as a batch. So, both the SQL statements got executed together. You can see the output for both here, right? So this is my total, so this is my total revenue. Got it? And then you have something like floor. You have something called floor. And for example, floor and ceiling. You have a function called floor. This is a built-in function. And you have something called ceiling. These are the functions, built-in functions. And here I just say select floor. This I have something like 25.75. And then here I'm going to specify as floor type. So I'm not selecting any column here. Did I select any column? Nothing, right? At least here I selected the sales amount from this table, profit from sales fact table. But here I just type the value and this value, put it inside the floor function. This is a floor, data type. Okay. So the output of this one will get displayed. And then the column name for that one is the floor type. The as is the alias for this one. Okay. So as see something like Rajendra Babu, Raja Shekhar, something like that. So what is the alias for him? So Raja or Babu, short name. It's an alias. It's a short name we have given. This is the one gives some context to this value. Simply if I do 25.4 of 25, it will display 25. What the hell is this? This is a floor data type. To learn floor data type, we have used this one, right? Floor function, we have used this one. Similarly, here we have something else called the ceiling function. Okay, select ceiling. What is floor and ceiling? Any idea? So in our house, we have, see in our room, we have the ceiling and floor, right? What is the difference between these two? How many of you watched my video, guys? Please watch my video. See, those days have gone. You teach me, are no longer, students, right? Videos are already there. You should have watched everything correctly. See, Shaya, see, clear the interview, everything. Look here, floor and ceiling. I executed these two queries and we can see the output here. What with that, can you tell me what is happening? Can you guess what is happening? I have mentioned 25.75 inside the floor function. So now it got rounded off as 25. But the same value, I have put it in another function called ceiling. Even this value got rounded off. So in this case, what happened?
Highest value. It got
It
rounded
returned
up to
the ceiling function, it returned the largest integer value that is equal to, right? So that is equal to or greater than this one, right? That is equal to this one or greater than this one. That is what we can see. That is what ceiling is all about. When it comes to floor, what is happening here? Yeah, tell me, someone saying, what is that? What is happening when it comes to floor?
Lowest integer value got.
Yes, right? It is rounding off the value, but it returns the value that is equal to or less than 25.75. Equal to or less than 25, which is 25. Okay, less than this value is yeah, equal to or less than this value, in this case 25, or in simple plain language. So what is happening here is it is rounding off the value to the lowest integer value, right? So in this case, it is rounding off the value to the next highest value, next highest integer value. So 26. It is rounding off the value, but here it is rounding off the value, but it is rounding off the value, which is equal to or less than this entire value, which is 25. So in this case also it is rounding of the value, but it is rounding of the next highest integer value. Next immediate highest value is 26. That is what floor and ceiling is all about. Okay, and then we have ABS function, absolute function, select ABS minus 25.838 or some from ABS value, right? So if I execute this one, what absolute function does? Full time we studied. Sorry, not from, no, as. Because this, we don't have a table by the name of apps value, right? So here, see, simply if we execute this one, it will get executed. So, but the column name will not be there. So if you see 25.8, right, you will get confused. What is this? So for that, you are giving some column name here, followed by as. You want to give a column name, you cannot give it directly, hence you need to use the keyword called as. Similarly, the same thing. So look here, if I execute this one, 26, right? What is this? I need to give some column name, hence followed by this, I'm using is. Because this value, I did not select from any table, whereas this one I selected from this table, but instead of, here I used the column name, but here I did not use a column name. Instead, I typed the value directly, right? So that is also possible. Okay, not necessarily you have to select the value from a column all the time. Okay, you can directly type the value also to check or to do some test and all. In this case, we want to understand what absolute function is doing. It is converting the negative value into positive value. That is what is happening. Okay, similarly, you have minimum, maximum, all the things you can try. Minimum, maximum, average. Right? These are the various functions are available. Try the round function also. Right? The exponential and power also give each numeric will give you, it will return true or false. For example, here I just copy the same value. Instead of ceiling, I just replace that with the use numeric. Press F5, it return 1, right? So what is 1? So, don't think, it is rounding off some use numeric, it will return true or false. For example, if it is true, it will return 1. If it is false, see, this is a numeric value, right? 25.75 is a numeric value. If you want to check programmatically, if any column has numeric value in it, we can use numeric. Same thing, we can use it here. For example, here, I just copy this. Earlier, we were posing that issue, right? When I use the quantity, it was throwing error. I was thinking that quantity was a numeric data type, but unfortunately, somehow it got assigned with the text data type. So, to check that one, we can use numeric also. This is a function, built-in function. Use numeric quantity from sales fact. If I execute this one, it gives me 111. There is something wrong here. Okay. And what's wrong here? what is the n worker, right? Or is text. Let me do one thing. Is
Yeah,
text.
what
Similarly,
is
we can text not is text, is worker or something. Is care. No, nothing like is care. Yeah, is numeric is available, and what other functions you have different functions. Yeah, care is available, but is care is not available. Yeah, is numeric will help you to check whether you have the numeric data type or not. Is numeric. One, it gives me one. So one means select not is numeric. The okay, let me check whether not is not is applicable. In Oracle, you can use exclamatory to negate something. Okay. So the is numeric returns one here. Okay. So the one represents uh, true. So see, sorry, this one, right? Yeah, in this case is numeric ceiling value. Yeah, so this is the one is the numeric value. Hence it returns true. If it is a text value, it will return zero. Let me try something like test or something like okay, some text value. Let me try. In that case, it should return zero, correct? So is numeric, is this a numeric value? No, right? The text hence returns false. False is zero. Instead of displaying false, it returns zero. Zero means false. For example, if I say some number, right? If I use some number, obviously it's a numeric value, hence it returns true. So the is numeric function will return either true or false. True is represented as one, false is represented as zero. You remember that one, okay? Is numeric function. And then you have something like power function. Okay, here what it is, sorry. Select power. What I will do is I'll remove everything. I'll just type power. Yeah, you have the power function here. So what happens? Expression power float returns. You can see the syntax also here, right? You can see the power and here expression 2 to the power 2. Okay, as square. Let me check. Okay, here 4, right? So here, so 2 to the power 2. So the syntax here is the first one is an expression. Here the expression I mentioned, what value I want to square it, 2. Look here, when you keep the cursor here, it displays the syntax, right? Okay, for example, once you type the open parenthesis, followed by that, if you keep the cursor, the expression is 2 here. Power, what value you want to power it, right? So 2. So 2 to the power 2, right? So that's the 4. For example, if you specify here 4, 4 into 4, 16. That is what given. Similarly, you try with exponential and other functions. School time, whatever you say, same thing, you can do it with that one. But ceiling and floor, right, you may not be aware of. That's why I gave you demonstrative. To try those these are the basic things you should be aware, the built-in functions, everything, okay? And similarly, when it comes to string data type, you have various built-in functions are there for string, okay? And you have something like concat and concat. We have seen it in the yesterday's session. Not a, you remember I have used the concat. Sorry, not your batch, other batch. I have used the concat there. So you have something like, for example, you have something called char data type and concat. You want to join two or more strings into one string. For example, you can try. We select concat. You can see the syntax here itself, and then you can try it. For example, that's all, right? Expression, comma, expression returns where binary one. So concat here, I say, welcome to the world of SQL Server, right? That's all. So what will happen is it will concatenate these two values. So welcome, this is a one string, right? This entire thing is a one string. How do you specify string data type inside the code, right? Single quote. Welcome to the world. So what I will do is I'm going to use W here. Welcome to the world of. So these two strings, I want to combine it together. So, for that, you can use concat. So here, what happens when you execute this query? Welcome to the world of SQL Server, right? It combined these two strings into a single one. But here, what happens? Followed by the of, right? The SQL Server. If there is no space, if you want to leave a space, you can use space bar. Okay, so that followed by the last letter, right? If you use the space bar, what will the welcome to the world of, then one blank space followed by SQL Server. Or you can leave a space here. You can do it this one also, okay? So now we have another function called space one. I don't know. So here, do I need to leave space and all, right? So in that case, it's a painful thing, right? So here, space one, here something was space one. What will happen? It will leave the space. Look here. Welcome to the world of, followed by that, it leaves one space. If you want to leave 5 space, you can specify 5 inside this space. Look here, world of 5 space and then SQL Server. You can use either this approach or you can use this approach. That's all, okay? And then what other things are there here? And your other things, right? You can just give it a try, right? Like I said, right, exact, extract a given number of from the right side. For example, so, pretty, the self-explanatory. Select the right of, welcome to the world of, what I will do is I'll extract and remove this one. And right. Expression and expression integer. Okay, you need to specify the integer. So look here, say the syntax itself helps me. Comma, six letters. I just execute this one. From the right side of this string, extract only the 6, right? Go F2, 3, the space also 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, that one, and then you have blank space, right? That is also taken into account. So now I'll execute it here. It will extract the strings from the right side, right to left, because I use the right. If you want to extract the strings from left to right, you can use the same thing here. You can replace the right by left. That's all, guys. Very simple one. So welcome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So 5. So sorry. W6, right? Yeah, 6. Extract 6 strings from the left side. Extract letters from the right side. That is what. The same way you can try all the other built-in functions. Okay. How do I know? The syntax, everything. Just type the function or trim and space, lower letter, uppercase. If you want to convert from lower to uppercase, that is possible. L trim, it trims the leading and all leading blanks. Okay, L trim and right trim. It trims the. For example, you have something like. For example, this is my string. This is my string. Just before that, I have a blank space here, right? I want to remove this blank space. For that, on the left side, I have the blank space. I want to remove it. When you select L trim, look here, just before this, what are the blank space, right? Blank space, we removed it. The leading blank space, if you want to remove it, you can use L trim. And similarly, if you have the blank space on the right side, you can use R trim. In this case, let's assume that you have the blank space followed by the string name. So you need to click on this one, execute, right? So this blank space will get removed. Supposing you have the blank space in, before and after the string name. string, right? Before the string and after the string also your blank space, you can use trim. Trim will remove the leading and the trailing blank spaces. Okay. So this blank space and this blank space will get removed by trim. And then the replicate, return a string repeated. If you want to repeat the same, hello, hello, if you want to display it 10 times, you can use replicate. And replace is very much helpful. The replace function also you can use it. Okay, the replace function is very much helpful to replace a value. So this is very much helpful in the real world scenario. Okay, for example, select replace, and here I have something like let's SQL to M tutorial spelling mistake. Okay. I have a, let's say customer has given you bulk of emails. He wants you to replace wherever the spelling mistake is there using your command. So in that case, you can use a replace command or the replace function. SQL tutorial, right? So actually tutorial, SQL tutorial, the M has to be replaced by T. So what you need to do is you need to follow by this. You need to specify what value you want to replace. The M I want to replace it as T. Right. So now if I select this one and press F5, can you see that ideally I should have given capital T. Okay. So the M will get replaced by T. So what value you want to replace M, and you want to replace it with which value T. So if I give this one SQL tutorial, but if I don't use MT, if I simply use SQL M tutorial, what will it display? It will display SQL tutorial, right? Instead, I know there is some problem in the syntax, so I'm going to replace M by T. Okay, there is a question now. So, it's okay, good question what she's asking, right? So why should I type, why should I specify the wrong wrong type over here? And why should I fix it? See here, in this case, for demonstration purpose, how you can replace the wrong string, right? But in the real world, what will happen is they will give you a bulk of text data. For example, they'll give you Acrobat file that they give you the text data, everything. But you need to open that file and then, right, so you need to replace, or, you can see a lot of, spelling mistakes when it comes to SQL tutorial. You can use a single command, replace, like this, right? This is the string. In this string, in replace M by T, if you give single command, right, it will replace the entire value in your text file or in your, in the Adobe file or something like that. Okay. And another function is the substring. Substring is very much important. You should be knowing it. If you want to cut a value from a specific value starting from the end of your given string, you can use substring. The substring, what we will do is here, you need to specify two arguments. First, three arguments. First one is your the string value, SQL tutorial. Let's assume that here, you have the proper data type. And in this one, start with I want to extract only the tutorial, not the SQL. So I need to, skip the four values. In that case, I need to specify the starting value. This is the starting value, right? From which value you want to start, and then, till the end, you want to extract it, right? How many, characters that you want to extract from this, how many text value or how many string you want to extract. For example, here, I'm going to say put 5. So what will happen? It will go to the fifth place. So the first one is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth one is T, and TU it will return. TU. For example, here if I say, right, and 10 values, right? So what will happen is starting from T, it will display the rest of the value tutorial. I don't want to take or return all the values. I want to extract only the value that I needed. So only tutorial I want. How do I extract it? You need to specify the starting space, the starting point, T. Supposing you want to extract only the SQL alone. The starting point is 1, ending point is 3. 1, comma 3 if you give, only SQL will be returned. The substring is very much important and replace is also very much important. And most of the time we will be using the another function called length, LEN, select len. So this one, sometimes you need to understand the length of the strings. In this case, the string name is lesser. You can count it. If the length of the string is too long, right? The length function is helpful. See here, SQL is 3 and 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it includes the blank space of 12. The length of this string is 12. So len function, substring function, replace function, ltrim and rtrim, concat, right, left, floor, all these functions, you can give it a try. And rtrim and space also we have seen. Str function returns the character data converted from numeric data. Str will convert your numeric data into string data type. Okay. And format, you can use the format. Format, we will see it when we discuss about the date data type. And yeah, so likewise, right? Try everything, but no, I have discussed all the most frequently used rest of like, the concat WS, and multiple strings with a separate and a single string. Right? So that you can use is something like this. For a multiple string, you want to, so concat WS, I'll just show you. Okay. So with this, I will show you. For example, here something concat, and we have something else called concat WS. Word string, concat WS stands for word string. In this case, I want to relation, I have multiple strings are there. Each string I want to separate by hyphen the world. Welcome to hyphen the world of, I want to use hyphen again and then SQL Server. In this case, what will happen is, here I did not put the quote here, right? That's why it is causing some error. If I execute this, so welcome to the, welcome to, hyphen should be there, but it is not displaying, right? Sorry. In this case, first you need to specify the hyphen. You don't have to specify multiple times. That's the beauty of this one. Look. Each and every word should be separated by, or each and every string should be separated by hyphen. Look here. Welcome to, so the previous one, right? You need to put the hyphen followed by each and every string, but this function makes your job pretty simple. First, you specify the separator. In this case, the separator is hyphen. Each and every string followed by you specify whatever the string that you needed, and then right. So when you specify the separator first, right, delimiter. So followed by the welcome to, it puts hyphen. The world of, followed by the world of, it puts hyphen, and then SQL Server, right? Followed by each and every string. If you want to put hyphen, you can use not only hyphen, you can use whatever you want, semicolon or comma, right? So with this one simple function, by specifying the the separator first, right? Initially, you specify the separator or delimiter. It automatically takes care for the rest of the strings separator automatically. Display the separator automatically. Got it? So what are the other functions or the important function? Yes, I'll just jump into next one is the string. We discussed trim and all the things upper, lower. The next one, the current build date timestamp is very much important. Okay. And whatever the date functions, we have seen it, right? In the date add, how many of you remember date add, date diff? We discussed as part of the DAX function. The date part is also available here, right? So this is exactly same as your DAX function in Power BI. The day function also we have seen, month function, year function, we have seen it, right? And quarter function is also there. And importantly, we have the date add function is very much helpful. And then the date part is also very much helpful. We have the date part and date add. These functions are really, really, really helpful. Most of the time we use that one. For example, I want to use select the date add, and here, let's I want to say in a year. First argument, what value that you want to extract from what string. I want to extract only the year from the given date. Okay, here I just 2021. and third, or 10th or something like that. Okay, this is one specific date. So what I want to, here date add, right? So here, here I want to extract only the, okay. Sorry, if I wanted to add an year, okay, let's say I want to add 1 year for the given date. Okay, sorry, I mistakenly told you. So date add function will help you to add the value with your, you can add a value to a year, the given date. But if I add the value blindly to the date, that doesn't make sense. For example, I want to add 1 year to the existing one. What will happen? The 2021 will become 2022. That's all, guys. Okay, and if you want to add a month, that is also possible here. Okay, don't add it year. Instead, you can add a month to the given. Look here, the month is already available. I just selected the one that was available in the drop down. Look here, 2020 year did not change, but month got changed from 3 to 4. If you want to add only the, if you want to increase only the month, you can specify first argument as month, and followed by that, you can specify the number of, the increments. If you specify 2, it will become 5. Look here, the 3 became 5, right? So similarly, you try for the day also. Okay, day, month, year, you can add that one. Okay, and we have something else called date difference. Okay, so supposing you want to subtract, what do we do? Subtract, what we'll do is 2 months from a date. So here I did not subtract, instead I have increased the month, right? But here if you want to subtract 2 months, you need to specify -2 here. That's all, guys. You can use positive value and negative value, okay? And sometimes you want to return the difference between two dates. You can use date diff. So here, difference in terms of what? Difference in terms of year. For example, I have 2021, 03, 10, and then I have 2023, and sorry, followed by that 03 and 15, something like that. Okay. And that, here the select, I need to specify the select. Always use the select function first. Okay. Since the reserved word, I always use the capital letter to make it more readable. Okay. Look here. So how many years are, what is the difference between these 2 years, right? So this is the one, right? You can, find out your date of birth also. For example, what is the current year date now? Today it is, your current date is 29/5/2024, right? So 2024. And sorry, here. Let's say your date of birth is something like, something like that. Okay. So here I just say, what is your, how many years old, right? So you can 37 years old. You can compute the difference between the two dates in terms of year. Similarly, you can use the months also. Okay, you can use month, that you can use it. Okay, and we have date format, date part. Sorry, we have date part. So even with date part, you can return a year. So instead of date, sorry, you have something like a date part. Sorry, this is also another type of function. Date part. And here I just say year, and then I just put this one. Then I just put this one here, and I just select this and click on execute. So if you want to return only the year from given any date thing, you can use date part. Similarly, you can return month So look here, you can see the date part is really helpful. You can simply type these commands and give it a try. Okay. The date part quarter, if you want to extract, for example, get date will give you the system date, today's date. Okay. Today's date. So I want to extract only the year, quarter, month, day of the year, minute, up to second, millisecond, everything. You can try it out. Look at the output, you can see, right? So the year is 2022, first quarter, month one, and day of year is 8. Everything you will get, even microsecond, millisecond, nanosecond, everything you will get it. So the date part give you, with the date part, you can extract this much granular level of detail from your any given date. So the get date function will give you the current system date. Okay, get date. So here this is the one. This is the one will give you the get date is a function. You need to specify the open and closed parenthesis. Look here, today's date it gives you, okay, including time. So here, year, month, date, and then hour, minute, second, millisecond, everything it gives you. If you want to extract only the year, you can use date part, like how I used it, right? Year. You can follow where you can specify get date function directly. Okay, you can specify directly here, like refer the syntax. Okay, and if you want to extract quarter, month, day, you can day, week, all the things you can give it a try. The date part is really, really, really helpful. You can extract any part from your date given date column. So the next one is the operators, arithmetic operators. You know very well, right? That you can use plus sign to add the value, subtract, multiply. The percentage, divide. We'll use this thing. If you want to find out the modulus, right? You can use percentage. And less than or greater than this one already right? So it's like equals and greater than, like similarly in DAX function, right? So the same way you can use, but here not equal to, you can use this one, less than, greater than, not equal to, or you can use not equal to. This is ISO. It's not an ISO standard. This is ISO standard, right? It's ISO standard. This is not. You can use this one also. Exclamatory equal sign, exclamatory less than, exclamatory greater than. Okay, not greater than. So these are the logical operators. So no and or not, like, between. And next one is the constraints. What I will do is, instead of rushing everything today, right? We will continue the constraints tomorrow session. Okay, fine. So with this.